Hello and welcome back to my studio. It's Lois here from Lois Morgana Davidson Art, and I can't believe that we're into December already. Where does the time go? I'm pretty sure that as the older I get, the faster the time seems to fly by. So what have I been up to? Well, an awful lot of flower painting and still life painting, which is absolutely brilliant. Working hard behind the scenes for the new book that Morgana and I have coming out next autumn. And of course, there's lots going on over on Patreon, as always, for people that support the channel over there. Lots of exclusive content. But here on YouTube, I'm going to start this new series of 5-minute landscapes. And I'm hoping that these quick little practices will sort of demonstrate to you how, even if you're really busy, if you can find 5 or 10 minutes out of your day, then you can get some really good, solid practice in for your landscape painting. And the idea really is not to be painting quickly for the sake of it, but to try to cut back and refine things, to use a sort of minimum of brush strokes to create these beautiful suggestions of these loose landscapes. So sort of less is more, and that's what I'll be focusing on in this new series. And I think this style of practice is really helpful for you in all areas: water control, brush control, colour mixing, making decisions on the fly according to what watercolour does for you. So I hope you'll enjoy it. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm using a limited palette today of indigo, sepia and burnt sienna. 3 brushes. I've got a mottler brush, a large mop and a small quill brush, and my trusty palette knife. I'll be mixing my paint on this porcelain plate here, and my board is at an angle of about 20 to 30 degrees, so gravity will help with the painting. Today I'm using a piece of Arches hot press watercolour paper. It's taped to my board. So let's start the painting. This is filmed in real time, no cuts. I am narrating it after the fact because when I'm painting, I like to just focus and not worry about narration. I really enjoy just getting right into the zone. So I'm using my large mottler brush to start with, just to wet across the landscape in places. I haven't wet the sky today. I'm going to put the sky in later. I'm just going to focus on the landscape to start with and getting in some middle ground trees and some distant trees using my 3 colours. And then I'll put in some sort of landscapes, some fields, allowing for a sort of misty distance, and we'll see what happens. So I'll put on some music and just let you watch, but I think this only takes about 3 or 4 minutes to create this landscape. So now that I've got all of my simple landscapes suggested, I'm putting in the sky using my large mop. You saw I put a bit of clean water across the top and then just using a bit of indigo to create this sort of greyish sky, softening the transitions so it's not too hard. And then just adding a little bit of that same colour into the landscape, the foreground and the midground, but hopefully still trying to keep that sort of misty look that's been created by the unpainted paper. So I'm now going to remove the tape and show you the painting. It's had time to dry, and as you can see, it didn't take very long at all, and I'm hoping that the sort of minimal brush strokes here just work well to suggest the scene without being overworked or too fussy. And just before I take a closer look at it, if you enjoyed that, then you might like my book, Landscapes in Watercolor, Techniques and Tutorials for the Complete Beginner. There are 5 line and wash projects and 5 pure watercolor, and lots of helpful advice. And of course, these projects are a lot longer than 5 minutes. This 5-minute landscape series is just really for practice. Practice at sort of really honing your skills at working in a kind of less is more way, keeping things simple. And if we look close, you can see the marks that I've made that are just sort of suggesting the landscape, and nothing overt here, and yet it all comes together to work really nicely. Just that little bit of dry brush in the front there I think is quite effective. That's of course where the brush meets the dry part of the paper, and just above that where the brush stroke has met the wet paper, we get these beautiful soft diffusions. Where I softened that distant headland back underneath, that gives us that beautiful misty look. And then just pulling those tree trunks through with the palette knife, or of course you can use a rigger brush if you prefer, then we just get that really nice simple landscape. And I think if you can find time to work in a practice sort of like this into your routine, where you limit your time but also sort of limit the amount of brush strokes that you do, you'll grow in confidence. I mean, it might take a little while to get used to painting in this sort of way, but I think it's a really great exercise that can, as I say, help to build confidence and also help to get you used to knowing where to stop with a watercolour. I think a lot of people, especially when they're beginning, will overwork their watercolours. And by the same token, a lot of people will underwork them as well and wonder why the painting hasn't come together. So it's a fine line, and this sort of practice can really help you if you find it really sort of difficult to know where to stop, and if you think you sort of have a tendency to overwork your loose landscapes. So I hope that was helpful, and I hope you'll join me again for another 5-minute landscape painting where I'll be trying a different scene. Let me know in the comments if you're somebody that overworks or underworks and stops before a painting is finished. I'd be really interested to read your comments. Thank you for watching, and many thanks to everyone that supports our channel on Patreon, either mine or Morgana's. If you'd like to support the channel, then the links are in the description below. And don't forget to check out my book, Landscapes in Watercolour. I'll see you again soon. Take care and happy painting. Bye.